Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how you can actually transform your everyday meals into flavor-packed superfood dishes. And we're going to do it without sacrificing a single ounce of comfort or joy. Seriously, if you've ever felt like eating well is just a massive chore, you are exactly in the right place. We're basically taking a masterclass today in flavor, nutrition, and pure culinary satisfaction. You know, we really need to aggressively dismantle this whole myth that eating well means restricting yourself to boring, bland meals. We've literally all been there, right? Staring down at a sad, watery plate of steamed vegetables and dry chicken, just feeling completely deprived. Well, it's time to throw that outdated concept entirely out the window. We are moving away from this old-school mindset of subtraction and totally embracing one of massive addition. Think huge flavors, stunning colors, and portions that actually leave you truly satisfied, both physically and emotionally. It's a complete 180.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by rethinking healthy food, figure out how to get flavor without the fat, look at the power of smart swaps, embrace the freezer aisle, dive into some veggie-forward comfort classics, and finally, lock in your new culinary mindset. Let's get right to it.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Rethinking Healthy Food. And the core motto here is simple: more is more. Forget the whole idea of eating less.
When it comes to nutrition and taste, you want to maximize those bold elements. Think about whipping up a quick, spiced, high-protein sheet pan chicken. Weeknight meals can be unbelievably nourishing when we just prioritize vibrant ingredients. By simply tossing chicken and carrots in some bold spices and serving it all up with a roasted lemon yogurt sauce, you're creating a dish with crispy, caramelized edges and deep, complex flavors. It's generous, it's exciting, and it absolutely proves that healthy eating should be something you actually look forward to.
Moving right along to Section 2, Flavor without the fat. Because trust me, you do not need a deep fryer or a heavy pour of oil to create an absolute culinary masterpiece.
Okay, this is a real game changer. Try simply dry charring your ingredients. Take sprouting broccoli or jarred peppers, for example. Doing this unlocks an incredible, smoky sweetness without adding a single calorie of fat. You literally just get a stainless steel pan screaming hot, drop the veggies in completely dry, and let that intense heat do all the work. The natural sugars caramelize, which gives you this beautifully gnarly, charred outside, while the inside effectively steams itself to tender perfection.
It's really all about smart techniques. By strategically scoring chicken breasts or using just a splash of water to gently sweat onions, we extract every ounce of flavor while keeping the whole dish incredibly clean. For example, scoring meat doesn't just speed up the cooking time, it actually creates these little valleys for your spices to cling to. Searing a cut lemon? That transforms harsh acid into a complex sweet and sour profile. And instead of drowning onions in oil to soften them up, just use a splash of water. It halts the aggressive frying and allows them to sweat, break down, and release their natural, sweet flavors perfectly.
All right, on to Section 3, the power of smart swaps. The best part here is that you don't have to totally change the meals you love. You just have to upgrade the building blocks.
For instance, swapping your standard white rice for whole grains gives you 5 times more fiber. Boom. And instead of serving up a massive slab of red meat, take a smaller cut of lean skirt steak, which is packed with zinc, by the way, and just bulk out the meal with butter beans or black beans. You're still getting that hearty, comforting texture you crave, but you're drastically slashing the saturated fat and skyrocketing your fiber intake.
And let's talk about gut health for a second, because it's so important. Ingredients like red chicory, which works beautifully in a red wine risotto, act as amazing prebiotics. They literally make your gut happy. When we talk about superfoods, we honestly forget about our digestion way too often. By swapping out standard salad leaves for something a bit more robust and slightly bitter like chicory, you are directly feeding the good bacteria in your system. It's such a tiny swap, but it has massive compounding health benefits over time.
Here's another amazing one: using cottage cheese in a risotto, or maybe a hummus-based sauce on a veggie burger. It delivers that indulgent, creamy texture you want, completely guilt-free. For years, cottage cheese was kind of misunderstood, but if you stir it into a hot risotto right at the very end instead of butter or heavy cream, it melts into this luxurious, silky, mozzarella-like texture while keeping the fat super low and the protein high. And swapping out standard mayonnaise for a quick blender sauce made of chickpeas, mustard, and a splash of olive oil, it gives your burger that amazing creamy drip without the heavy calories. That brings us to Section 4, Embracing the Freezer Aisle. Seriously, we need to completely rethink how we view frozen food. It's where convenience meets nutrition. Next time you're at the supermarket, think about your own freezer at home and stock up on these super accessible staples.
Having things like frozen peas, broad beans, or a pre-chopped vegetable base on hand means that even on your most exhausted, absolute busiest weeknight, you are only minutes away from a vibrant, veggie-packed soup or stew. You are effectively bulletproofing your diet against a busy schedule.
We really shouldn't get overly snobby about only eating fresh farmers market produce. Frozen veg packs just as much nutritional punch, if not more. The literal moment a vegetable is picked, its nutrients begin to deplete. But snap freezing pauses that process immediately. So, a bag of frozen peas is often more nutritionally dense than the fresh peas that have been sitting on a supermarket shelf for 4 days. It's affordable, there's zero waste, and it lets you eat a vibrant rainbow of vegetables all year round.
Section 5 is all about veggie-forward comfort classics. And spoiler alert, you do not need meat to create deep, savory comfort food satisfaction.
By just leaving the nutrient-dense skin on your sweet potatoes and using ingredients like dried mushrooms, maybe in a vegan shepherd's pie, you can achieve a savory depth that easily rivals any traditional meat stew. It is a massive culinary hack. Dried porcini mushrooms act like an absolute flavor bomb. You just steep them in boiling water and instantly you've got a rich, dark, earthy stock. And if you want to thicken up a stew naturally, slice up some okra or toss in some red split lentils. They just melt down, creating a beautiful, thick gravy without relying on any highly processed thickeners. And don't sleep on ancient, inexpensive grains like barley. They are absolutely loaded with beta-glucans, making them the ultimate superfood to bulk up hearty winter dishes. So instead of just tossing in standard potatoes, throwing barley into a vintage Guinness and vegetable stew adds this incredibly satisfying, chewy texture. It soaks up all those dark, malty flavors while working overtime to keep your heart healthy and your cholesterol in check. It's inexpensive, it's humble, but man, does it pack a heavy nutritional punch.
Finally, we've made it to Section 6, your new culinary mindset. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about recipes. It's about a complete lifestyle shift toward balance over restriction.
Consider this number, 70. Health experts actually recommend capping processed meat at 70 grams per day. And what we see is that longevity hotspots around the world prioritize quality over quantity. They use small amounts of meats like pancetta simply as a seasoning. You don't need a massive sausage to get the flavor of the sausage. Slicing just a tiny bit of smoky pancetta or a single chipolata into a huge vegetable stew distributes that rich, savory, smoky fat throughout the entire dish. You get 100% of the flavor satisfaction while keeping your meat intake well within those healthy limits.
So what is our ultimate takeaway here? It's about balancing your plate by upping those colorful veggies, lowering the meat, and using things like acidity and texture to create shock and surprise in every single bite. Stop peeling your parsnips and squashes. The flavor and the fiber live right there in the skin. Throw in contrasting textures, Add little capsules of sweetness from pomegranate seeds on top of a savory rice dish, or some crispy baked parsnip ribbons on top of a smooth soup. These contrasting moments of crunch, heat, and acidity elevate a meal from just being fuel to a genuinely joyful culinary experience. Now that you've got this incredible mental toolkit of healthy cooking hacks, I have to ask you, how will you step into your kitchen and apply these principles today? Whether it's dry charring some broccoli, trying out whole grain noodles for the first time, or just leaving the skin on your sweet potatoes tonight, the power to make your food vibrant, generous, and incredibly healthy is entirely in your hands. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy cooking.